Hello and welcome to the Knicks Syndicate pregame show. I'm George from Into the Knicks-Verse, and I'm joined by my good friend Keith from Sports Vibes TV. Salute, brother.
Hey George, how's everything with you, man? Enjoying your day so far? Getting ready for the weekend?
I am. I kind of got a head start on the weekend festivities after Wednesday's game.
I'm sure you did. You're
Yeah.
enjoying yourself out there in La La Land, I see.
Oh man. Well, the weather has been incredible out here. It was in the 90s, in the 80s, so at night it's fantastic. Go
Just
out.
rub it in all the New Yorkers' faces. We've been dealing with rain,
Oh yeah.
wind. Yeah.
Oh man.
I got stuck in it last night driving some family to the airport. They left their passport. I had to drive all the way up to Rockland County from the airport and then back again. So I was stuck in the midst of it. So I'm happy to be here talking Knicks with you and the chat. Let's get into it.
We're down to it, Keith.
Yeah.
2 games left. Shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. Silver Surfer, Connor Tulin. Good to see you, brother. Sincere the Genius. Always there, holding it down. It's great to see you, man. Dank Tanks. All right. Well, we only have 2 games left, man. And the question, the question on I think every Knicks fan's mind is: should we tank this game tonight? Because we know the Wizards are.
Yeah. You see the moves they already announced.
Yeah. So they are sitting Contavious and KP. Porzingis. Porzingis is out. What did they say? Knee maintenance?
Yeah, it's something about injury maintenance or something like that.
Like a knee, like specifically knee maintenance or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think JD put out a pretty good tweet talking about rest and injury management in the second to last game of the season.
Yeah,
for a team that's not going to be going into the playoff or the play-in. So you already know what type of time they're on.
Exactly. What's funny when I read that knee maintenance, for some reason the image of like C3PO came to mind. Gotta fix that knee.
Right.
All right, man. All right. Well, if you guys are joining us and haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit that thumbs up button for us and drop your comments. If you guys think of anything later on, just drop your comments. We read them all, and they really help us understand what you guys are thinking and feeling. Yeah, man. All right, well, let's just jump into it. Let's go to this is the current state of the NBA draft lottery simulator as per Tankathon. The Knicks right now and the Wizards are tied for 10th and 11th place, 35 and 45. It's the exact same record. And right now, whoever stays in that 10th position will have is that the way it's written? Is like if we stay tied, we end up tied, we both end up with the same exact
odds.
Yeah, I hear some it's gotta be New York sirens.
Oh, you hear some sirens in the background? Yeah. City life. You already know how it goes. I apologize. I can't control it. Yeah, I think it stops now though. I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good. Hold on just one second. Is that true? No, I don't think that's the way exactly that works. Yeah. It's just the way they have it right now. But
yeah, they got a little lazy with it. They didn't want to do double work.
Yeah. I mean, this game is going to decide it because we only play 3 games all season. So and we're split right now, 1-1. So whoever wins this is going to end up in the 10th position, and whoever loses is going to be 11th. So and New York Basketball tweeted this out: 2 games left with a lot on the line for the Knicks. They could finish anywhere from 9th to 12th in the lottery odds. 3x difference. 9th equals 20.3% chance at top 4 pick, which is nice. That's a decent chance. And 4.5% at the number 1 pick. 12th, you get a 7.1% chance. Now the siren's on my side.
Oh, now it's on your side? Hey.
What the hell's happening? It's Friday.
Chaos in the world on both
Chaos
coasts.
Friday. 12th, you get 7.1% chance at the top 4 and a 1.5% chance at number 1. So you just got to get so lucky. Tied for 10th with Wizards right now. So, and that's who they play next. It's going to be interesting, man. I honestly think that we should tank this game. What do you think?
I mean, if we want to take this game, we just have to keep operating the way we've been operating recently and throwing the bursts out there.
Just let Thibs coach a regular game.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's the thing. You know, we want to see the young guys play, we want to see the young guys play well, but that doesn't, go in the same direction as us trying to tank. I think this team is best situated when we have our young guys at the forefront. So, yes, I want us to tank, but it's just hard for me to see us be able to tank and also see what I want to see, which is Quick have a good game, RJ have a good game, Sims continuing to have a good game. So, you look at the Wizards team that they're going to put out there for us to tank, you would have to see this team kind of implode for the most part. You'd have to see the worst case scenario, RJ being highly inefficient, Quick not finding his shot, Burks, turning the ball over, not hitting his shots and things like that. And that's not what I really want to see. So it's hard for me to say I want this team to go out there and tank, because I know if we go out and do that, it's not going to help me analyze this roster. It's not going to, teach me some of the things I want to learn about some of the players out there. So I think we're going to go out there and win this game. We got a coach like Tibbs. He's going to probably have the same starting lineup with Burks at the 1 and things like that. So this team will be prepared to beat a undermanned team like the Wizards tonight. That roster wouldn't go out there and beat a good team, but a team that's actively trying to lose, we might go out there and run them off the court.
How about a soft tank? How about we start the game the way, Thibs usually starts the game. But if, and whatever's happening at halftime, then we just sit RJ for the rest of the half. The second half. And Burks. Just let Deuce.
But RJ's coming off of a game where he didn't really play well. I'd like to see how he
that's
rebound.
What I mean. Let him have a first half. Let him have that. And he'll play the first half on Sunday as well. But there's no he doesn't have to play the whole game. And I think, unless there's something else going on. Let's say, he's having an amazing night or something. But then again, what's the actual real benefit for the team itself? We already know what RJ can do. And we know that he's going to have to work.
We know what RJ can do. That's why we really wanted, Randle to sit these last remaining games and see what RJ could do as the number 1 option and as the leader. That's why I really wouldn't want to bench him in the second half, because I don't think RJ is at that level yet where we can just, I want to see these young guys continue to play. I want to see Deuce out there. I want to see Quick getting extended minutes.
Even if it costs us like a legitimate chance. I mean, look at the difference between, San Antonio plays, they play 2 more games. I think they play tomorrow and Sunday. And they actually have a legitimate chance of winning one of those 2 games. So if we lost the next 2, we could end up in a tie with San Antonio for the ninth and 10th spot, for the 9th spot. So I think we are 1-1 with them, right? This season,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, not sure what the tiebreaker would be, but there's also a chance they win both because they're struggling for playoff position. To solidify that play-in, to get into the play-in. They're still looking to do that against the Pelicans. The Pelicans are right there, 36-44. So there's a chance that San Antonio wins the last 2 games and they finish 36-44. And I believe actually San Antonio played the Pelicans in the final games. I'll look that up while we keep talking. Let's say RJ comes out, gets 25 points in that first half. He's got, and it's an efficient 25. We sit him. We don't play as many, give Obi as many minutes. Let Ferran Hunt have some minutes. There's a way to.
We don't have those type of players to give them that type of leeway. You look at KP, he's a guy on a big contract. He's got some years in the league, so they can sit him. You look at KCP, he's another guy that's been around for some time in the league. They can sit him. But we have young guys. We still want them to develop. So, the route of a soft tank or tanking in general, it's taking our young guys off the court and trying to put the vets out there for extended minutes. And that's something
which has been the story all year.
Exactly. So for us to try to switch it up now when I think everything is set up perfectly for the Knicks to get some of these young guys some, extended playing time so we can see how we look sans Randle. I just don't think that we should try to do the soft tanking or do any kind of tanking at all. I think this team can go out there and lose playing the young guys. So let's put them out there. And if they do lose, let it be because, they didn't have a great game and, we're able to analyze them off that type of play. I don't want to see us pull them in the second half and not give them what could be, valuable minutes out there, working together as a unit, building chemistry. You got our young core. I keep mentioning Quick, RJ, Obi. I want to see them out there getting as many minutes together as possible, and also including, Deuce in there and Sims. I think that unit should see the bulk of the minutes, whether we're taking or not. They should get the bulk of the minutes.
We'll see. Burks, he's been playing the most minutes.
It's crazy.
I think it's just insane. He's just
to me, that's tanking.
Yeah. So Burks, Fournier, it's tricky with this team because you're right. You say, okay,
it's a weird spot to be in.
It's a weird spot to be in. I really do hope we lose this game though. So I'm on the tank side because I think at this moment with just 2 games left, if seeing the young guys was such a paramount of importance to this team, that should have been happened earlier in this 20 games ago, 15 games ago, when we were begging for it. We were begging for it from the beginning of the season, but that's why we wanted that to happen, not in the last 5 games when you're technically eliminated from the playoffs. We were eliminated from this. I eliminated the team a month and a half ago. I eliminated it. I said, season's over. I called it, and nothing really changed since then. They went on that little streak, but ultimately it was meaningless. And all it's done is put us in the jeopardy of having a legitimate chance of getting a top 4 pick, where in this particular draft, a top 4 pick really matters because there is a drop off in terms of impact bigs like, Chet Holmgren, Banchero and Jabari Smith. And then there's, Jaden Ivey, who, he could turn into a tremendous pro. He could be phenomenal. But at the same time, he definitely is no Ja. He's a bigger Ja. He feels like a Ja, but he's not Ja. He doesn't pass like Ja. He doesn't have the explosiveness of that level of Ja, but he's a little bigger. There's definitely some similarities, but he's not the same. And we don't know exactly what kind of career he'll have. But I think he's worth it. He's worth taking a chance for that 4th pick. And then so the problem is that we don't have a chance to land 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th, where there's that other little cluster of players like AJ Griffin, Ben Mathurin, Shaden Sharp. There's a couple of the guys that could be interesting at those lottery positions. So once you get to 10, 11, 12, it starts dropping
down.
Yeah, it's watered down. We're taking a chance. And here's the other thing. Here's the other reason why tanking might be good. Or losing, let's put it this way, losing these final 2 games. If we get lucky and get one of those top 4 picks, that could become a very, very tradable asset. Package that with something. Bring back something really attractive. We discussed Donovan Mitchell last time.
Well, if you listen to Rothenberg a couple of days ago, he said it's quiet for that. He's got sources, quote unquote. At least that's what I heard from his
he said what?
radio show. Rothenberg, he said he's reached out to a few people, and there's some sources that Donovan Mitchell really isn't too keen on coming to the New York Knicks.
Oh, interesting. I did not hear that.
Yeah. He's been pretty accurate too on his Giants news and his Mets news. So we'll see if the Knicks news is accurate as well.
Okay. Well, we'll have to keep an eye out on that.
And also, George, I'm cool with us losing. I just don't want us to go the tanking route.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Guys play.
I hear you. If you're like, play as good as we can. If we lose, we lose.
We lose. If we win, we win.
I just think okay, so maybe the 4th quarter, maybe the whole second half is a little too much. But maybe if after 3 quarters, the game is tight and the young guys have played well, maybe we sit some people who are hot and then ride with the 4th quarter. And we still pull it out. We still pull it out. Who knows? Deuce could score 15 points in that 4th.
Hey, Deuce should have 25. If you're going to do that quote unquote soft tank, Deuce better get 30. He better not be one of those players sitting down.
Yeah. Exactly. No, not Deuce. I wouldn't want to sit Deuce because he needs to get as many minutes as possible.
So just RJ and Obi you'd sit?
Yeah, RJ and even Obi kind of hurts me a little bit. Maybe Obi we
Yeah,
sit
I
for
want
the
Obi
fourth
to get
quarter.
minutes.
Yeah, maybe we sit him for the fourth quarter, and but he comes out and plays that third.
That's the thing. We have a lot of young guys we really want to see out there on the court because Tibbs has kind of, not been putting them out there and not giving them minutes. So now is the perfect time for us to see what they can do. So it's just hard for me to say, yeah, don't give those guys any type of play time in, second half or
we could
even
start
in the
doing this
quarter.
in the fourth quarter.
What?
Order Sims to shoot 23.
Tell Sims go out there and start chucking.
Yeah, man. All right, well, let's get to the next topic. Thank you guys for showing up. We have 74 in the chat. Hit those thumbs up for us, guys. I really appreciate that. Be awesome. Let's go to, is Randle tipping his Knicks future? So I'm sure everyone's aware of this by now. This was all over Twitter, social media yesterday. Julius Randle apparently has unfollowed every single Knick, right? And deleted almost all of his Knick photos except for the Slam magazine cover with RJ. He eliminated the apology post that he posted on Instagram, and he unfollowed everybody. He did a purge. And apparently he was also purged because he lost 8,000 followers since February 3rd. So within a little over 2 months, he lost 8,000 followers and he dropped everybody else. I don't know if he followed Knicks-Verse, but I'm not blocked yet, so that's good. Randle also unfollowed Kendra, which is interesting. So what's your feeling about this? Is this just nothing really? Or do you think this could be something? Or what's your feelings about this? Oh, can't hear you, brother.
My bad, I muted. With this, I think what was weirder was the fact that he's got his little child, his little newborn, with an Instagram account. That to me was what threw me off the most, as opposed to him not following his teammates. I mean, before there was talks that he didn't want to be a Knick because Nick wasn't in his bio, but now Nick is in his bio, and the conversation now has pivoted towards him not following his teammates. And I mean, if he's only wants to follow his two kids on IG, maybe that's him trying to filter out some of his own personal posts that he sees when he's going through the app, try to unfollow as many people as possible. That way he's not seeing some of the vitriol that's been directed toward him from Knicks fans. So that's what I think this is, more so than him, kind of hinting that he's out of New York. Because like you said, the Randle and RJ photo is still up there. You can see he still has a photo of his son with a partial, picture of the jersey, and then you also have, I think, the newborn laying on his Julius Randle Knicks jersey as well. So there's still mentions of him being a Knick there. He just did a purge of his Instagram account. So I think that's what it is, more so than any signs or indication that he wants out.
Yeah, I think I'm more like, I think there's, well, we're not in his head, so we don't. Oh, we may be in his head, but we're not inside. His head.
Fans are definitely in his head.
We're in his head. One thing I noticed, it's nice to see that his wife didn't stop following him. He may have unfollowed her, but he didn't stop following. He didn't unfollow her. It could be, you know what? Season's over. Let me start fresh. Let me purge. I don't want to hear any noise, any social media smoke. Just wanted to stay out of the fray, and a way to do that is to kind of reset. I go through a purge once in a while with my own personal account. Go through, why am I still following this person? Whatever. Or sometimes I'll just shut it down for like a month, to just get some space from it. Now, obviously, he can't shut it down completely because that would be a louder message, possibly. It could be just a sense of, I want to start fresh, whether that's with the Knicks or with another team. Either way, I want to start fresh. It may not necessarily mean anything specific, like fans are speculating that he's already out the door. He's already gone. I mean, he still may be doing this with the feeling that he might return. The other thing is he eliminated that apology on that non-apology apology on Instagram, and maybe he realized, you know what, it was never really genuine. I didn't write it, didn't come from my heart. Why keep that on my social media footprint? Why make that such a prominent element on my Instagram feed? Let me just remove that and kind of just move forward. So it's possible. It's possible that that's the thing is the timing is weird because the season is not actually over. So he could have waited a little bit.
His season is over. He's not playing anymore.
Yeah.
You know? And also when it comes to the apology, honestly, you know, you're somebody with that large of a following. Do you want that stain on your social media account? I would probably delete that as well. You know, once the apologies got out there, everybody's heard it. You know, you want to move past the situation. So him deleting that, I'm not gonna really, you know, hold that against him or anything like that. Whether he meant it or whether he didn't mean it. You know, trying to move forward and trying to, I guess, mature and move past the situation, you would want to, you know, at least get that off your feed so it's not someplace people can come and comment or point to in the future.
Yeah. By the way, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. It's interesting how he can't help but still make himself, you know, make fans kind of like curious about what he's doing. I mean, even when he's not playing, he's still making news.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's weird.
Shows what happens when you have a tough season. And not him personally, just the Knicks in general. You know, there's not too many positives to really touch on when you're talking about the Knicks. So when you're starting to try and speculate what this team could do in the offseason, everybody's looking for clues. So Julius Randle, he went and did a cleanse on his IG. And to some people, that might be a clue as to where he's or where his mind is heading this offseason. So I get it. But to me, I don't think there's much to it.
Yeah.
I think that decision has already been made. So him cleaning out his IG, I think doesn't really signal anything for me.
The decision by the front office, you mean? That he's
yeah. I don't think they're gonna enter this off season and choose and make a change from whatever stance they are right now, or when they decided to sit Julius Randle. If they decided they were gonna move on from him in this off season, I don't think they, you know, anything after that is going to change that fact or is going to bring new information to the surface.
Yeah. It could. Yeah, that's true. It could also be him trying to send a signal saying, hey, if you want to move me, that's fine with me. Like he could actually be saying, I'm okay with being moved.
After he had the press conference saying, I'm quote unquote built for this, I want to be here.
The fact that he said I'm built for this it just kind of shows how like unaware he is.
I'm built for this.
That's the thing that cracked me up the most.
Oh man, that's like a non-New Yorker trying to prove they're a real New Yorker. I'm built for this. Yeah, all right, bro.
That's hilarious.
Oh man.
All right, want to shout anybody out?
Yeah, let's give a shout out to Jason M. He says Randle missed his likely incentive, so his contract declined by nearly $3 million next season. That's something right. You've been mentioning, George. Adrian Dizon says moving him will be hard with that new contract kicking in. I mean, I don't think he's overpaid, honestly. If he plays halfway between how he played this season and what he played last year, I think he's still worth that type of money. You know, he just can't be relied on to be the main guy on a team because, you know, I think when he has that type of pressure on him, he begins to fold. So if he's able to find a team where he can be maybe the third option and still get paid that type of money, he'll be fine.
Yeah. I think next year, because he's not going to hit those likely incentives, he doesn't. I think he's like at $23 million for next season. That's a very movable contract, even though he is the least efficient, high volume player in the entire NBA. I think it's still possible. It's still possible.
Definitely possible. I don't know, very movable, but it's possible.
Hey, you know what? Speaking
with
of
all
movable,
the theatrics, I don't know.
Yeah,
or the antics.
Speaking of movable, let's look at the roster. Let's look at the roster and see, just looking at this roster, who is a def return, who's gonzo, or who is in limbo for next season. Let's just run it down. Go Begin with the B. Alec Burks. What would you, if you had to pick one of those three? Well, I mean, it covers everything. Returning, gone, or maybe in limbo.
Meh.
You think he's a limbo guy?
Who? Burks?
Alec Burks?
No, I was just finishing your sentence. But Burks is out of here. You got to hit the dash to whatever city is willing to accept him.
You think he's definitely here? You think he's definitely?
You think me personally, or you think the front or what the? I think the front office.
I want you to project out in like what the front office is thinking with this guy, with all these guys.
Burks, I think Burks is definitely on the go. We already heard talks that he was a potential move at the deadline. So I think this offseason they may find a new home for Alec Burks, me personally. What about you? You think Alec Burks is someone that'll continue to be here?
It's a weird thing. I think it's a big possibility that he does return. Because he's got a very nice contract for the type of production that he actually gives you and the defense that he gives you. And he already knows the system. And he's going to return to the bench. He's going to be coming off the bench. It's possible, but you never know what happens with the lottery. You never know what happens with trades and everything. But I think he's more between returning and limbo. So I'm going to put him in the limbo pile. But
so
in terms
George,
of
I'll ask, how are we going to get this roster better then? Who are we going to move? Oh, I guess
that's a great question. That's why we're going to talk about it. Yeah,
because I think if you look at the roster, Burks is probably the only player that you can actually trade and get something of decent value when you're talking about the vets.
There we go. See, that's why I wanted to do this.
I think he might be on the way out just because we know the front office is going to try to make this team better, and we don't really have the cap space to do or make any big splashes. So I think a lot of what we do this offseason will come through either the draft or via trade.
Okay.
More so trade because we know Tibbs isn't going to draft.
So you think he's gone, and I'm in limbo.
Burks would be included in the deal. Yep.
Okay. And we're trying to think about what the front office will do.
Yeah.
Not what we prefer. It's what we want is irrelevant at this point. And the front office and Tibbs has shown us that.
Yeah, they don't give a damn.
They don't give an F.
Burks has started every game since post All-Star, right?
Yeah. Crazy.
Nuts.
Well, Fournier, I mean, he's interesting because he ended up having a pretty nice season in the end, especially from long range. And he will be at the beginning of the season, he will be turning 30. Burks will be 31, so he'll be a year younger, Fournier. His contract is pretty sizable. It's tricky. Again, I think this is an even trickier one for me, Fournier, than Burks. Because depending on what becomes available, he might be. I could see teams wanting Fournier for what he actually gives you.
I think either Burks or Fournier is gone.
Yeah,
one of those two.
It seems like those are the likeliest two
that
will be gone.
I think Fournier might stay. You always can't have too many shooters, and that's one thing Fournier can do. And I think he'd be better in a role where he's coming off the bench. So I think the front office will move on from Burks, and then they'll keep Fournier.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when Fournier is one of their big additions.
Free agents, yeah. I think if between the two, I think Burks will probably be the most likely to get traded than Fournier. Most likely because of the size of the contract, I think, as well. The amount of the return that you get on the money you pay for the player, you get a higher return from a Burks right now in that contract.
And Burks is expiring with Fournier. Still has one more guaranteed after the next year.
Right. And Burks, it's ended up shooting the 39% from the three, right, or something like that. Pretty.
I have to pull it up.
Good. Yeah, I think he's done pretty well overall. All right, Emmanuel Quickly is the next one.
Now, it all quickly. I think Quickly will return, but if you think the Knicks are going to make a big splash and make a big trade this offseason, then Quickly is probably one of those players that's going to be included in a deal. I don't think the Knicks will be able to make one of those large deals for an elite player this offseason. So I think Quickly is going to stay.
You don't think George? They will be able to?
No, I don't think they're going to make any major splashes.
But if they do make one of those big trades, it feels like Quickly and Obi will be key pieces of it,
depending
on, or it could be Randle. Who's next on this list? I think Quickly is more of a depth return. I think he's more of a returning player. He's a Kentucky guy. He's a draft pick of this regime. He's delivered. He's come on strong. I think unless they're in a situation where they can really add a player through a trade that's going to significantly upgrade this team, I don't think they'd be willing to let him go for a maybe guy. So I think he does return because, like you said, I don't think that big trade is going to happen this summer unless it involves the next guy on the list, Julius Randle. What are your odds? Do you think Julius will return?
I think Randle has to be out of here because they already mentioned that they're keeping Tibbs. So this is not one of those off seasons where the fans are screaming, "Run it back." We do not need Julius Randle returning with Tibbs. And if Tibbs has already been mentioned to be the coach for next season, then I think Julius Randle, the front office, is going to move on from him this offseason and see if they can bring in some talent in exchange for him.
Yeah. Well, we heard Ian Begley say that the front office there was interest in Julius at the trade deadline. And he said that he expects them to revisit that in the off season. So I have a feeling with everything the way it is that there's a very good chance that Julius Randle does get moved this summer.
Yeah, man, things are too toxic.
Yeah,
they're monitoring his Instagram activity at this point. He got to go. If that ain't a sign that you've worn out your welcome, I don't know what is.
Exactly. I think he's a gonzo, man. Mitch, this is a tough one for us.
Yeah, I don't think Mitch is coming back.
You don't think Mitch is coming back?
And now we've got him hurt and missing games to end the season. I don't know, man. I want him back personally, but the fact that we haven't been able to get a deal done at this point, once Mitch hits the open market, we're at the mercy of other teams offering him, who knows what they'll offer. Maybe they might go get crazy and offer him maybe 16, 17
It might be wild
a season. Yeah. And at that point, if I'm the Knicks, are you going to pay Mitchell Robinson that type of money when we've seen Jericho Sims have some solid performances, and then maybe you can try and find a replacement in the first round of the draft? So with me, I just don't think Mitch is gonna be able to be retained, honestly, once he hits the open market. So I think the front office wants to bring him back. I just don't think they'll be able to meet at a price in order to get a deal done by the deadline. And then once he hits the open market, it's really hard to dictate what will happen.
Yeah. I think he's most likely gonzo, unfortunately. But I hope it's an assign and trade situation that we get something back
in return. Yep.
Yeah. He's too dynamic a player to lose him for nothing. After 4 seasons here.
And after you got him as a steal.
As a steal, yes.
Steals in the second round are far and few between. And for you not to get anything, to recruit anything for doing all that, I won't give us that much credit for developing him. But
just the fact that we drafted him. And
exactly.
I think that's, but I do think he's gone, but I just hope it's in a sign and trade situation. That one's going to hurt. I'm a big fan of Mitch, big fan of his. And I do think he still has more to him in this game. I think he does. We talked about, hey, it'd be great for him to go and spend 3 weeks with Keem the Dream, and really refine some real moves, some go-tos, and add some tools to the toolbox, because all he's got is one.
Catch and dunk.
The catch and dunk. Yeah. And then if he's facing a tall white guy like Plumlee, he'll take him from the 3-point line and try to dunk. But
we need to see
we need to see more than just you need more than a wrench and a screwdriver in your toolbox.
Facts.
So
offensive rebounding, and that's great, but once you get the offensive rebound, we need you to get some moves so you can convert.
Yeah. And like Randle just pointed out here, we need a center that can shoot and space the floor. So that's another thing That is absolutely 100% true. We do. We need a stretch five on the roster. He doesn't necessarily have to start. He doesn't have to be a start. He could be the backup stretch five, or even stretch five backup power forward. That kind of player, because we're going to have Sims as the backup. So it could be. And then we'll get to the next guy. The next one is Obi Toppin.
I think Obi's staying.
Yeah.
With all the turmoil surrounding the Julius Randle.
If Randle's traded, Obi is staying. It just makes no sense to trade them both at this time, especially with Thibs as your coach. Because unless you're trading Randle for another power forward, a vet that Thibs loves, I don't see any reason for us to part with Toppin as well right now. So I think the odds are Toppin stays.
Yeah.
Amen. RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett, I think, is a def return.
Facts. He's definitely going to return. Like I said, I don't view the Knicks making any big trades, any major moves. So if they're not making a major move, then that means they're not trading RJ, because they would only include RJ in a deal unless it was going to bring in a marquee talent.
I'll say this, though.
I don't think they're moving RJ.
The Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons.
I say Simmons.
He said he thinks the Knicks are ready to make a big move this summer, and that they're going to. He was also referring in terms of Anthony Davis, because that was the topic that popped up. Like, they were saying, well, who could the Lakers trade Anthony Davis to? And then of course the Knicks came up, and he said, whatever ends up happening with them, I do think they're going to exhaust. I don't know if he used the exact word exhaust, but his intimation was that they were going to exhaust a big trade this summer. So they are going to make an attempt. So, but it all depends on which.
I don't think it'll be for a marquee talent,
and
it's not going to be for a number one. Might be for a number three.
Yeah, like a solid number three. Yeah, maybe or. And
that's why I don't think they'd include RJ. They'll probably include someone else a little further down the list, but we'll get into it.
Yeah. Taj Gibson.
I mean, he's got one more year on his deal.
Yeah,
I don't see them trading him. They might cut him, or they might move him to the coaching staff.
Yeah, I think he's a limbo guy. I think it depends on what happens. Wasn't he like the last person signed last season? And then
I think they restructured his deal. They actually gave him more money or something, right?
Something, yeah. But I think he might be a last minute. He's a limbo guy. They're going to put him in the limbo column.
If they have space, they'll throw him. Well, no, but he has a contract, though. No? Or is it an option?
I think it's an option. I don't think he does. I think it's an option. Yeah. I think it's an option. Not 100% on that either.
I'll look it up while we talk.
Yeah. Quentin Grimes. I think he's a definite return.
Yeah. And if he's not, it would be via trade. And I don't know if I think the front office is very excited about Grimes as a player. I think Tibbs as well. So
Tibbs
likes him moving on from him.
Yeah,
we know Tibbs loves him.
Tibbs loves him. So why trade? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Grimes is a def return. And I think same with Deuce. I think Deuce is a def return.
Deuce might be somebody that they might let loose, and trade. They didn't give him too much of an opportunity. If you were to give me Quentin Grimes and Deuce and ask me which one of those two would be most likely included in the trade, I think it would be Deuce.
Yeah, I would agree with you with that.
But remember, we still have Rokas.
Yeah.
If we can move on from Deuce and guarantee Rokas a minute as a backup point guard, I could see the Knicks.
Oh yeah, Rokas is not even on here. Forgot about him. You didn't list him on here.
Yeah.
I'm more like I'm leaning more towards that he's a def return. You think he's the limbo guy.
For Deuce? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be shopping him, but if they're looking for trades to improve the roster, I think teams are going to ask for Deuce.
Yeah. I think they will. I think smart teams will. They'll be interested in what he can provide. Jericho Sims. He's on a 2-way deal. I think he's definitely back.
Yep, he's back.
He's cheap. He's really cheap. And
Uber athletic.
Huh?
I said uber athletic.
Uber athletic. He's basically what Mitch was, 2 years ago.
When he first got here.
Yeah.
Just what, 4 years older?
Yeah.
3 years older?
Yep. Kemba, we know the deal with him.
Yeah, he's out of here.
D Rose.
He's already out of here. He's not even with the team as we speak.
He's already gonzo. D Rose. He's an interesting one.
That's interesting. Me personally, I would try to move on from D Rose, but I think the front office, Tibbs is his guy, so he'll probably be back next season.
The other reason I think he'll be back is because it'll be hard to move him because he never played the rest of the year. So it's hard to get anything of significant value back for him in a trade right now. He could return and be the same Derrick Rose he was, and that's a tremendous player, tremendous high value, and you can't sell low on him now. So I think he is a def return.
Well, maybe you might sell low on him just to get out the contract.
But what is it? Try like 12 million, 13 million?
12 or 14 million?
Yeah.
Something like that. I think it's 14 million. And Taj Gibson, his contract for next season is non-guaranteed. They can cut him with a zero cap hit.
So it is non-guaranteed. So he's definitely a limbo guy. I don't know. D Rose, he's obviously Thibs loves him. He makes the team, everyone better on the team when he plays. Unless like a team that's ready to win and they just need that savvy point guard leadership, but don't need him to play more than 25 minutes a game. But there aren't that many teams like that. So I just don't think I don't think there's a market for him, especially right now with the question mark of his injury. So I think he's most likely he returns to the team next season, but you never know.
But I mean, even that injury, what was it, bone spurs? That I don't think teams would kind of hold their breath too much. It was bone spurs, and then the surgery site got infected. So if I was another team looking at him, you already know Derrick Rose has an injury history. I don't think this ankle history kind of adds. I mean, it adds some concern, but the specific injury type isn't something where I'm saying, okay, I think it'll cause Derrick Rose to lose a step, especially when we've seen Derrick Rose start to transition his game a little bit more. That way he's not overly reliant upon, his speed and things like that. He's being a little bit more savvy as a veteran and things like that.
Made that.
So I think a team can look at him and say, hey, we need a solid player coming off the bench as a point guard. I mean, look at Kimba. We think teams might look at Kimber and say he could do something similar, and we are going to see him. Yeah. So with Derrick Rose, I think Derrick Rose has more value than a Kemba Walker, and I think Derrick Rose is a better player right now than a Kemba Walker. So if I'm entering, trade negotiations, I know yes, the injury is going to diminish his value somewhat, but I'm going to look at that injury as something that I don't think is going to be an issue long term. And when he does hit the court, I'm expecting to see the same D Rose. So if I'm the front office and I'm entertaining these trade discussions, I'm not going to say I just want to take less because Rose is a product that is broken down and things like that. I think there's still value for him on the court, and if anything, I want to move on from him just to free up that 14 million so I can kind of bring somebody else in. When I think the point guard situation for the Knicks could be solved internally. We've got Quick, we've got Deuce. You could bring over Rokas, and you have a nice, interesting young trio of options at point guard when you talk about those three guys. So with me, I'm more so focused on moving D Rose and freeing up the 14 mil.
If Thibs wasn't returning as the coach, I would 100% agree with you. But with him returning as the coach,
that's the wrinkle.
That's the wrinkle. I think there's a likelier chance Rose will be at least begin the season, because he's someone, if he proves that he can still be that guy, they can move him, in January. To a team.
I think he'll be back as well. I just giving you my thoughts as if I was trying to entertain a trade for him. I'm not trying to hear that he hasn't played.
Yeah,
put him out there. He had some bone spurs in his ankle. He got that cleared up. It was a little infection. That's the only reason he ain't come back.
Yeah,
he was pain free outside of that. So
the next guy is interesting, Nerlens.
Oh, he's got to be out of here.
I think he's got to be gone.
We saw him with his hair down. I think that was him giving up. That was him waving the white flag.
He's a gonzo. Nerlens is a gonzo. Cam Reddish. Out of here. Cam Reddish.
That's the one I think the Knicks might move. I think Cam is out of here too.
Ooh.
I think Cam is out of here too. I mean, we've already mentioned throughout this segment that we think the Knicks are going to make a move to try to do something to make some kind of splash to bring in more talent. And I think Cam Reddish is the guy that they're going to include in the deal. We've already heard that the Knicks will.
I agree. If there's a big move of some kind, like for a number 2 or number 3 type guy, that a Cam Reddish would probably be included in that deal. It hurts to say, but
even if it's not a number 3, I think they were going to move him for Goran Dragic.
Yes.
And that guy was a buyout. So if we're looking at it that way, I think Cam is going to be on the move. And it's unfortunate because I think Cam could develop and build with this, core that we have. But, after hearing those reports that they were willing to move on from Cam and Alec Burks for Goran Dragic and a mid to late first round pick, that's not encouraging heading into the offseason.
Salute to the chat. We got 129 people in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. The game is going to start soon. We're down almost at game start time. It's early game start today, 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
7 o'clock.
Sorry. Start times.
Yeah.
Like I need to get rules. When do we start at 7? When do we start at 8? And
I don't know why this is a 7, but they did it that way. Oh, it's in Washington, so they might have their.
I know in Florida they have certain rules that some of the games start at 7.
Yeah. So we'll see. But they start a little bit later, so we still got time. Ryan Archidiacono. I think
he's out.
He's out.
Yeah, he's probably out. Probably out, but he's done a good job taking up the Theo Pinson role. I've seen him giving a lot of energy, a lot of clapping and things like that from the sideline. So solid performance from him.
Hey, shout out to Jay Boogie. Good to see you.
Yeah, breaking news. We in the play out.
In the play out. Boom. The play out. Big play out game here.
Look at the starting 5. Mitch out again.
We got it.
Yep. We surveyed 100 people. Appreciate
Alec
you, bro.
Burks. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. We surveyed 100 people. Alec Burks, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, Jericho Sims. Well, we got 3 youngins and 2 guys that we think one of those 2 is going to be not going to return next season. So that's an interesting lineup.
Meanwhile, we've been starting those 2 together for the whole second half of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
They have no future on both of them as a pairing have no future on this team, and we're starting them night in and night out.
It's
crazy, right?
It's it's mind-boggling.
It's tips.
Yeah. So here we look at the game. We got the Knicks, Wizards. It's hard to even look at this stuff because they're sitting 2 or 3 guys that are important to them. So it's weird. It's weird to look at it right now in terms of these matchups. RJ's listed right now as the top season leader in points, 20.1 points per game. So that is why it's important that if he does play, that he plays long enough to get his 20 points. I really would like to see him finish above 20 points. It's a nice psychological hurdle. I remember when I played, I did average like 19 something. And it just felt like, man, I was so close to 20.
Here George goes bragging.
Yeah.
Oh, you were a shooter back in your day?
I was just a bucket getter. Yeah, I could shoot. I could shoot.
He said, "Don't try to box me in as just a shooter. I get tripped all 3 levels."
Oh, whatever. Yeah, I was like Mitch, constantly hitting the hardwood. Constantly. And as a little guy,
like Mitch too, but in the body of a point guard.
Yeah. I mean, I was in the body of a Muggsy Bogues. Well, actually, I wish I had the body of Muggsy Bogues. I mean, the height. Let's put it that way. When I was little, when I used to play, I was tiny. Yeah, here we go. Look, the Wizards have won 3 out of the last 5 games, and we've lost 3 out of the last 5 games. They lost to the Hawks. They beat the Timberwolves, lost to the Celtics, beat the Mavericks, and beat Orlando. Boy, everybody's beating Orlando lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orlando, they already know what they're into.
Yeah.
They're tanking like crazy.
You can see
we have the good teams tanking and we have the bad team. We have the bad teams tanking and we have the good teams in the East tanking to avoid the Nets.
Whoever loses goes down to the 10th pick. I want that. I want the 10th. I want the 9th pick. But again, we've already chopped it up about that.
Yeah, you guys keep talking about lottery luck. We don't have any lotto luck in New York.
I know, but it's bound at some point.
People say that.
One day it might happen for us.
Yeah.
One day.
Hopefully in my lifetime.
Yeah. Shout out to Kep Giggles. Good to see you, man. Cleveland just lost to the Magic.
Oh,
I didn't realize. Oh, that's right. That was yesterday, right? Or I think it was yesterday. That's right.
Yeah, she sent this a screenshot. I remember in the group text. Tried to use the MMA math.
That's funny, man. Shout out. If you're new in the chat, just hit a hashtag news so we can shout you guys out.
Shout out.
Yeah. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit that thumbs up button for us. Be awesome. And subscribe to Sports Vibes TV as well. And do you want to announce the Sunday show and everything?
Yeah, so the Sunday stream will also be another pregame as well. So George will be joining Foxy and I. If I'm not mistaken, they released the time for that game, right? What did they say? A 7 o'clock tip?
Let me verify that.
Because it was TBD for a while.
TBD the whole year. Almost.
Yeah.
I think they did announce it. It's a 7 p.m. start.
Okay, so so we'll do the stream. I'm still debating whether it'll be 5:30 or 6, but definitely by 6 we'll be up and running, chopping it up, talking Knicks, and hopefully we'll be in a nice position to, talk about our maybe some draft picks and things like that. So make sure you guys are tuned in.
Shout out to Stefani Management. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Welcome into the Knicks-Verse, into the Knicks Syndicate pregame shows. It's been fun. It's been an interesting. I wasn't sure I wanted to do live streams that many, just once in a while. Yeah. And I'll be honest, it was actually JD who talked me into doing it.
Yeah. You and me both.
Yeah. And it's been
great. Shout out to JD.
Shout out to JD, man. And shout out to Foxy, who's been an unbelievable contributor to both our channels.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Major contributor.
Yeah, major contributor. And I think it's been great because I've been able to actually see in like real time the mood and the tone of the chat. We do have the best fans, the smartest fans, savviest fans, passionate fans, and it just it makes me understand the game better and understand what you guys are thinking better by doing these live shows. But though I do love doing the recaps.
Yeah, your recaps are fire.
They're fun, especially when it's there's something really to have
interesting to get into.
Yeah, exactly.
Win or lose, because even when we lose, and you get into one of your rants.
Surprisingly, for a stretch, the losses,
it was all rants.
The recaps from losses, were more popular than the wins for a while.
Guys, I think you kind of embody a lot of the frustrations of the Knicks fan base. So people tune into you because they know you're probably going to be saying a lot of the things that they're thinking and may not necessarily have the platform to really share. So I think that's what a lot of people gravitate to your replays. I mean, your recaps. Yeah. I almost lost it for a second.
I try to keep it real. Yeah. I try to keep it real. You know what it is? I stopped. I used to go through and make like copious notes during the game. And then I kind of felt like I would miss the spirit of the game, because I'm so focused. Oh, what was that? And then when I stopped doing that, of course you do miss out on certain, like, oh, what the hell was that play that happened? So it would be nice to do some of that, but
that's why you have the group chat. Yeah, somebody's probably mentioned it.
Yep, totally. All right, and you know what? When off season begins, nothing slows down for us. Because we are going to be all over whatever news breaks, whatever rumors break. Free agency. Exactly. We have the draft, free agency. We have the lottery, May 17th. That's going to be tremendous. It's going to be it's going to kick off basically what the Knicks might actually do. Once they get, because if we get lucky, get one of those top 4 picks, that could change dramatically the offseason plans. So we will see. We shall see. All right. Well, it's 7:09 right now. The game will be starting pretty soon. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us all season long. This has been fantastic. This is the last pregame show on Into the Knicks-Verse for this 2021-22 season, which is obviously a season that didn't go the way any of us wanted or expected. I do believe I believe it and I know it, and that this team severely underperformed this year. They did not play up to the level of the talent that was on the roster, and I put 40% of that on the players themselves, and I put 60% of that on the coach. We talked about the analogy of the captain on the ship. Everyone's got their roles. They do their roles. But when you really need a captain is when things go bad. And he did not navigate us to a winning season this year. That's putting aside the way the roster was constructed. That's a whole different type of criteria of blame, if you want to put it that way. I do think the front office could have done a better job giving Thibs the kind of players that he'd be willing to play. So there's that. You want any last parting thoughts?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody in chat for tuning in. We appreciate all the support, like you said, throughout a rough season. You guys have helped us as content creators get through the season. So, thank you guys for holding it down. We appreciate all your support. Also, George, Brando asked a question. He said, where would Rokas rank in the draft? What do you think?
I'll tell you, he's looking like definitely a lottery pick. I mean, not a lottery pick, a first round pick. I think a top 20. I think 20, he would be a top 20, maybe even higher, because there are not that many good point guards in this draft. He might be like, what do you say, top 15? Yeah, he could. He could, because of the dearth of point guards. When I first said top 20, I forgot this is a draft without
point guard of the week.
Yeah.
Because if you had to pick one between Ty and Rokas, who would you pick between the two?
I think right now I would pick Rokas.
And they have Ty going to us at 12 in a lot of mocks. So
yeah. I would pick Rokas right now. That's the interesting. I mean, Rokas probably won't come.
Won't. Now with Tim's coaches. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's no reason to. You are the best team in EuroLeague. You're playing with Nikola Mirotic. You have the head coach who said he has a plan for you to try to make you the best point guard you could possibly be. I mean, why would you come to the Knicks, honestly? Probably making similar money. He was a second-round pick. Deuce is making what? Less than $1 million. I would think, Rokas is making a little bit more over there in Barcelona. I'd have to look it up, but I think he'd probably have a better life over there right now as opposed to. Well,
he also has guaranteed minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Guaranteed minutes. I mean, Deuce, many games he never played at all. So that's.
And I'm pretty sure Rokas and Deuce are still tight. They probably still communicate. Rokas said it in one of his interviews that he's still in communication with certain guys from the team back in Summer League. So, Deuce, I'm pretty sure is frustrated with the amount of play time he's gotten this season. And if he's having conversations with Rokas, I would assume he'd be mentioning that to him as well.
Interesting. Well, the tank non-tank is working. We're down 4-0 already.
What? How? Every time we do these things, you tell me we're losing, and I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah, we're down already. Rui Hachimura hit a 19-footer.
Rui's my guy, man.
And now he hit a 3-pointer. It's the Rui game. He's going off.
He should have did that back when the fantasy was still going on. He gave me nothing. He had the mental health issues, and then when he came back, they kind of eased him in.
Now we're down 10-0. Let's go. Let's go. 9th pick.
Okay, I see 7-0 on the broadcast. Somebody must have hit a 3. Look, boom.
Kispert. Corey Kispert.
Yep. What? Yep. See, I told you we could play the young guys and still lose.
Yeah. Randle Perez, the next live is on Sunday, and it'll be on Sports Vibes TV.
Yep.
And
we'll be joined by Foxy.
Yes. And Foxy and I will do some more draft-focused shows as well as we get to further into the off season. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I mean, last off season was exciting.
Facts.
And this one is even more important.
It's more important, but it's not as exciting because now the front office has to kind of undo everything they did to fuck up last off season.
Yeah. They have to unfuck last season.
Yeah, George, look at Frederick's contract. I mean, Frederick's comment. He said he doesn't want to be Rokas G Leagueitis.
Yes. It's a great one.
You got to listen to them say his name during a game.
Rokas G Leagueitis. Rokas G Leagueitis. Hey, we already called the timeout. Good. Gives me a chance to catch up.
That's crazy. No KP and no KCP, and they running us off the court in the first quarter.
Blowing us off the court. 10-0. Wow.
Bricks Nation, all empty seats at Washington. 80% of Knicks fans.
Wow.
Hey, Knicks fans.
And we're down 10-0.
Yeah. We're out of playoff contention, and we still got Knicks fans invading opponents' arenas. That's how you know we got the best fans around the world. Exactly. Any sport. I'm riding with Knicks fans.
Yep. Oh man, when I go see games here, it's tons of Knicks fans. Tons of Knicks fans. And Dodgers. When I go to see the Dodgers, there's tons of Mets fans too.
Mets fan. That's one thing I've never done. I've never gone to see the Knicks as a away team.
That's all I've been doing recently. That's all I've been doing. Oh, we got a super chat.
Facts.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much, Brendel. See you guys then. Thanks for the hard work. Love the analytical content. Definitely differentiates you guys from other content creators. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys, any other questions or whatever pop up after the game is after we sign off or whatever, just drop it in the comments section and we'll incorporate it into our next stream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give it a shout out.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. Hit that thumbs up for us, please, and drop your comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. My name is George. This is Keese from Sports Vibes TV. And I've had a pleasure doing these pregame shows all season long. It's been awesome, man. Especially with you, Keese, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Doing them solo would suck.
Would suck. I mean, honestly, I probably wouldn't do them solo.
Yeah,
keep it a buck.
Same.
Not even gonna lie to anybody. I wouldn't do it solo.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. All right, guys. Thank you.
We surveyed 100 people watch along.
Yeah,
maybe. Let's discuss. Maybe we could do a watch along for the last one
on Sunday. Think? Yeah. All right, we'll talk about it.
I'll hit up Foxy, see what Foxy thinks, and maybe we'll just do it like that to close out.
We could do that. That could be an interesting way to end the season.
Yeah, right. Nice way to go out with a bang, celebrate.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, what are we celebrating? Although I guess the first year of the Into the Knicks-Verse Sports Vibes TV collab on pre-games.
Yes, we can celebrate that.
All right, sounds good.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you around the Knicks-Verse.